one of the main things that people need to do is take their Wing Chun into longer range. Our program at the Dragon Institute specifically deals in that range, in addition to all ranges, but deals with that range. And it is kind of the, not just kind of, it is the bridge between the boxing or kickboxing range into the traditional range of Wing Chun or close quarters range of Wing Chun. It's still Wing Chun when we take it to these different ranges, but because of range influence, and here's another concept that I believe all Wing Chun needs to adopt. They're called range influence. Range influence is that range influences how you fight and how you move. In other words, your Wing Chun at a longer range is going to look different than your Wing Chun at a closer range. Why? Because range has different priorities. And when you understand the priorities of these different ranges, you understand how to apply your Wing Chun at these ranges. In a close quarter traditional range of Wing Chun, which is basically squared up in your triangle, that is a range, right? But if you look at it from the side, it gives me this range. I have to be in that range, or I have to force that range onto someone else. If I wanted to fight at a little longer range, which we refer to as long bridge, this is more needed. I can deflect, I can simultaneously defend and attack, right? At that range, that's the long bridge that we do. And then we even have a longer range, which is basically just simply hitting as our attack, not simultaneously defending. The hit just becomes the defense. And in that range, we're going to be evasive because that's what works in that range. We're going to use head movement. We're going to use more footwork that looks more boxing-esque. Not because it's, Wing Chun is a type of boxing, but not because it's the sport of boxing. It's still Wing Chun. It's just understanding that range changes things. And Wing Chun can be applied everywhere. So that's the basis of what I'm trying to help people to see.
Here's a video I did a couple years ago that details it further.
Everyone at first thinks, and even feels at first, that Wing Chun is static. There's nothing static about good Wing Chun. It's alive, it's flowing.
The principle of range influence. Range must always be an influence on your posture and actions during fighting.
When you are long, here's a very important thing about priorities of footwork. When you are further away and you have no contact whatsoever, you have no structure, and you shouldn't have any structure. People mess this up. And being able to transition between a longer range and bridge the gap into a closer range, the more traditional range of Wing Chun, is extremely important. Don't go ahead and get a heavy structure here. Heavy structure is for here, right? Make sure you're mobile here. So there is going to be some difference in how you apply your footwork in longer range versus closer range. People think, oh, he's coming at me, right? Let me get my structure, right? They think that. Or maybe they're longer, right?
Yeah.
People do that. It's a very natural thing because you get stuck in a mode. You get stuck in one mode, and that's why it's so important to understand what range you are and having different range, and this is range influence, we call it. This is extremely important in your fighting. When you're long, you're moving around, right? I honestly believe in head movement a lot in long range. Maybe a traditional range, and a traditional range of Wing Chun, the closer range, no head movement. I don't like that in there because that's sacrificing your structure. But you don't need structure out here. You don't need structure out here. You need evasive movement, okay? Evasive movement. Flat-footedness is for structure. Here's where I'm flat-footed, right? In close. Here's where I'm, connecting there to the ground. Here, I'm evading in order to get to where I want to be, right? Where I want to be. Head movement. So the rules of long range. The head and the foot combine together. The traditional range of Wing Chun, that is not true. Okay? So when something comes into me, okay, look where my head is and look where my foot is. I didn't apply my punch yet because I just wanted you to see my head and my foot. Now as I put it together with my strike, again, see my head and my foot? So it's combined together. So head movement moves and the foot goes with it. So this is the implications of footwork. You're not doing this. Right? That's going to get you stuck in place. That's not going to make you mobile. As he comes in and I, boom, right? I'm very mobile. I can go wherever I want to at that time because I'm here, 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 right? Constantly moving around as needed, right? As needed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So to practice your head movement in long range, simply get your like a wide horse stance, okay? Get on your toes. Bring your head over top of your knee, over top of your foot. This is how you're going to practice head movement. The other foot doesn't have a lot of weight on it, so that this foot does, and you can make this your launch from there, right? So, boom, boom, get you where you need to be, okay? Makes you not stuck. Check another thing out about this. Dung Tao, or head up as if being pulled by a string, is not as important in long range. What is important is head movement and being able to get to a spot very efficiently and evasively, okay? So you'll notice as I go here, I'm not here. See that? This makes me more of a sitting duck in long range. So this is what's difficult about blending your long range into your close range. It's difficult because they're different modes. And you can't be all structured out here, like I said. You have to be fluid and mobile. Head movement, boom, boom. But then, as George comes in and I'm here, now, because contact is imminent, oh, boom. See my structure there? It came in at that, as I got it, right? And you felt the structure, and it all came from underneath. That's how the traditional range of Wing Chun really, really works, is in close. What am I missing?
So, Sifu, when you say out of structure, to what extent you can lean forward, but I mean, as long as you're...
You don't need any structure when there is no contact.
So there's no rules whatsoever, as long
Yes.
as long as the foot and the head
Yes.
are moving together.
However, when contact is about to come, that's when you structure up.
Okay.
But prior to contact, no. Why structure? You don't need it. Structure is for deflections and really deflections and making yourself feel a lot stronger than you really are because of connected to the rest of the body, as you guys felt it, right? Structure's for that. Yes?
In order to maintain your fluidity, then it seems like you really don't want to overemphasize getting into a side body type of posture.
You can, based on range. So now we're talking about range. We have 3 general ranges. Long range, which is basically side body. That's our longest range we can have. And then we have long bridge, which is our here. And then we have medium and shorter range. If you don't need to go to a side body, if you don't need that longer range and they're coming to you, then why would you do it? Right? However, there's going to be times when, he was coming into me in that example, but there's going to be times where you're going to need that in order to do basically the arrow punch, right? Boom to boom, right? But if you don't need to, remember our goal is always to get in, ABC, always be closing, right? That is Wing Chun. That's still the goal, even as you're practicing your long range Wing Chun. And it's going to take on elements of Western boxing, not because we're influenced that really necessarily with Western boxing. It's because the range needs it. It's a range priority thing. So we haven't mixed Western boxing with what we're doing. We've just seen through decades of this practice what works and what doesn't at these different range. This is our Wing Chun at long range. So I have an online school that just went live. You can find it at DragonInst, I-N-S-T, dragoninst.com/online. You can find it there, and it is basically, you can become a student of my school. And it starts with the online course, the 90-Day Beginners online course that I've had, and I used to sell as a standalone product. No longer do I do that. Now you can become a part of my school. And not only is it one course, I've got another course and another course, and it just progresses on step by step to take you to higher levels, okay? And I'm talking higher levels in your different forms, your Sunam Tao, your Chum Q, Bill G, wooden dummy, all these different things, many, many drills, higher level drills, all the things that you can teach someone online, because you can learn about half of Wing Chun online. Don't forget that. Don't let somebody tell you that you can't learn a good portion of Wing Chun online. Don't let them say that. Yes, you need time with other people. Yes, the other half of Wing Chun needs to be in person. You need to know what it's like to build your sensitivity, to be hit and get hit. Yeah, you need time with another person, with hands-on. But half of it can be learned online. And let's not throw out everything, okay? So that's what I'm doing here. I'm giving you the highest quality Wing Chun out there, and I guarantee you that. All right, so again, that is dragoninst.com/online. Thank you much.